my friends, I am Rob, the lair of OmnusI, here with you once more for another topic from the RPGaDay 2019, as provided by the RPG Brigade of Facebook. Today's question or word is guide, which is an interesting open-ended topic because I like to think that I am a guide of sorts. I've guided many people towards role-playing games by putting on public games and inviting people to come in. The more newcomers, the better. Likewise, a lot of my videos are guides of sorts, trying to teach people various elements in gaming or talking about my feelings on them, which I think having discussions like that helps everybody. But today is story time, because I'm going to talk about one of my favorite stories, and it involves a guide. See, back in the day, the characters didn't have what are commonly thought of as skills. They had their combat abilities, certainly, but beyond that, they were really kind of helpless. This is way back in the day, mind you. So after 2nd edition started to have proficiencies, including some that were useful for navigation, and you also had character classes that basically had built-in navigation, like the Ranger. It wasn't as much of an issue, but in the very earliest edition, your players were baby children. They could not really function. They needed specialists to get them to do just about anything. And traveling to obscure locations was certainly one of those things. There were hirelings that were guides and scouts that could do that for you, and they charged a fee. But for the most part, if you went stumbling about out into the wilderness yourself, you could get into a great deal of trouble. So guides and scouts were commonplace henchmen. They generally didn't charge a great deal unless they were going someplace that was dangerous, and they were basically there to take away the possibility of getting lost and stranded out in the wild. Some would say that is essential. So one game I was playing I was running an Arthurian Legend game, 1st edition, and the characters were associates of the Round Table. They were not themselves knights, because none of them qualified as knightly behavior for just about anything. The game had gone on to a higher level. The characters were about, as I remember, about 11th to 12th level for the main. The rogue was a level higher, the wizard was a level lower. That's kind of how things worked out back then. But they were attempting to put down a menace to the lands, the dreaded were-chicken of Scotland. Yes, bagpiping Scotsman out on the moors who would regularly turn into a huge chicken-man hybrid and go around pecking people, spreading his curse and killing the unlucky. It wasn't a very serious game, it should be noted. But at one point they go to, well, they're in Scotland. They get to Scotland easily enough. And they follow some clues about the dreaded were-chicken of the moors. And eventually they find this old duffer who looks relatively harmless. He's got a bad leg, walks with a cane, but he tells them he could take them to the moor where the dreaded chicken is. They just have to protect him. They agree to protect him and pay a reasonable price. Like a bag of 25 gold, I think. At their level, it was nothing. Nothing at all. So they agree, and he takes them out onto the moor. And the journey is perilous, of course. I think they end up facing a small swamp dragon. I think they ended up taking on a few swamp trolls as well. But at their level, these were challenges that they could deal with. It was enough to do some damage, make them heal up a bit, but they didn't feel like the quest had gotten away from them in any way, shape, or form, really. Until they eventually got to this tor that overlooked the rest of the marsh around. And they climbed up it, and, the old man was trudging along, never complained through the whole thing, stayed out of all the fights, let the adventurers do the fighting, And eventually they got up to the top of the tower. He's like, well, we're here. Here's the dreaded were chicken. And they're like, where? And all of a sudden the old man sprouted feathers, reached behind him and whipped out his bagpipes of blasting. And, they were out on the tour. They didn't have anybody to ask for help, and they had been beaten up a bit. So there was a grand fight. One of them actually contracted lycanthropy from that, became a were-chicken for a little while before it got cured. But it was fun when the guy that they relied on, and I think they even grew to like old Hamish. They completely, he completely sideswiped them. Although, it was, if you have those tropes lying around, it would have been fairly predictable, probably. I didn't give out a lot of clues, but there were a few clues here and there. Like, for example, he insisted on using a mirror that was made of glass and not silver. But yeah, it was a fun fight. Of course, a were-chicken with a bagpipe is a fearsome wonder to behold. They did kill him, as you would expect. He was tough, but they won. It could have been one of my notorious Halloween adventures. A monster like that certainly could have been. I can't say for certain, though. Otherwise, there's a number of fun things that you can do with guides. Having them be the monster is certainly fun, but and then, of course, once they killed him, they were alone out on the tour, too, but they had enough magic to get back. But having your guides be somebody who's mission critical to the party, especially if they have a special skill, like they know the combination that can get them through the main door and into the dungeon proper. Without this person, they can't do it. That's the kind of thing that you can really put into scenarios so that if by threatening that person, you then have, the party have to change their tactics and work extra hard to protect this person and worry a little bit less about just doing the thing they always do to protect themselves. Sometimes a surprise guide, that they weren't expecting can throw a new wrinkle into their plans. For example, if the person they thought was the local big bad evil guy, not the big bad evil guy, but certainly a bad evil guy, turns around and offers to take them someplace they need to go or want to go badly but can't otherwise. Throws another wrinkle into an encounter and invokes some role-playing and possibly figuring out how they can work with the person that they were just trying to kill. So guides are kind of something that either they're a plot MacGuffin these days or just left out, trusting that your players have the survival skill and what have you. But quite honestly, still a useful touchstone for adventures. And, quite honestly, can also be the special stock that enriches the flavor of your adventure. Gives the group something to think about, and might even be a character enough that you can have fun hamming it up as a role-playing opportunity for the Game Master. So, these are my thoughts for guides. I hope you've enjoyed them. It's certainly not exhaustive. There's lots more that you can do, but it works for me. Thank you. I am Rob once more, and I will be making more of these RPGaDay questions. If you like them, please feel free to subscribe, like the video. I always appreciate that. And we'll see you next time I decide to get in front of the internet and make one of these videos. Thank you, and farewell.